and sisters, one of the most important aspects of civil rights, social justice that exists in our lifetime today is to take a serious look at the injustice that's being placed upon those who believe as we believe, those who are following teachings that have been given unto them under the Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon. It is not right. It is not just. It cannot be considered anything any longer that's tolerable for those who would call themselves Christians, or those who would say that they are family members, to allow an injustice and brutality to be upon human life. And those of us who know better cannot afford to sit on the sidelines and continue to watch individuals being starved, individuals being deprogrammed when it's not necessary, individuals being taken through matters that are so abusive that we wouldn't tolerate it with animals. Think about it. We took away a multi-millionaire and Michael Vick and locked him up, imprisoned him for what was being done to dogs. Yet we programmed him every week during football season to fight other human beings as if they were the dogs he had trained to fight. We locked him up for the abuse of dogs. Yet we are tolerating human beings being abused as much as those dogs were abused because they believe, because they have a faith, because they have religious liberty that individuals are trying to take away and deny. And I say that because individuals will always be free to believe inside. That's why they haven't been successful in taking away that which is deep within an individual like Goethe, who many of you have seen pictures of, or heard about, or heard of his plight. You've had things written about him. Many of you have read them. It is time for us to take a solid stand now and make a definite difference. You can do it by joining us in our efforts as we continue to go to Washington, D.C. If it's the will of God, I will join Dr. Jenkins and others again next Wednesday and continue our plight towards seeing that justice is done. We're trying to bring about congressional hearings. I'm going to ask Bruce Slater and others who are on a national committee with me, with Religious for Faith and Politics, where we seek to have congressional hearings around such issues, to join other congressmen who have already signed on to work diligently with Dr. Jenkins, with Reverend Injun Moon, and others of ACLC to see that a change will come about now. In order for it to really happen, we need you. We need you to write your congressional leaders. We need you to call them. Some of you who have friends who are in Congress, we need you to talk to them. Speak to them from the depths of your heart. You don't have to have the correct thing to say, for there is nothing more correct or right than just to say, let's do right by people. Let's ask those in Japan to stop it now. Let's ask those in any part of the world who are intentionally fighting against the movement that is at hand, that God has called in place, to stop it now. Let's ask people to join and take an intelligent look. There may be some risk to it for some, but if we're not willing to live for what is right, regardless of the risk, then we are being failed. And I don't ask you to do something that I have not done myself. I spoke with, in the United Methodist Church structure, we have levels. And I spoke with our district superintendent yesterday. And I said to him, I am praying to God because I've lost a level of respect for our Episcopal leader because of his stance of not wanting to learn what is right at hand right now. Learn for yourself. Listen for yourself. Hear what has actually been taught by Reverend Moon before you place judgment. Hear what has actually been placed in the minds and hearts of those who are suffering right now. When we look theologically, we need to join in the battle against the suffering of those who are trying to practice their religious belief. You can do that by writing. You can do that by calling. But you can also do that by taking a stand against those who may be in your denomination, those who may be in your church, who are still representing the wrong idea. When I looked at the history, I see that some people have taken a stance against what is going on with the unification movement because of the political ideologies that exist in America. You know, America was waving a band of praise and glory for Reverend Moon. And then when he saw fit to ask America to forgive one political leader for a mistake that was made, it was as if all that he stood for went out of the door. It is not right. That should not be. And because of that stance, we shouldn't allow individuals to continue to suffer